Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a former Boeing 737 pilot and a member of the PMDG 737 tech team. Let's do some retro operation here with the Airberlin 737-800 flying from Düsseldorf to Innsbruck for a lovely circling approach onto runway 08 today. Now, I used to fly a lot with the Airberlin 737s as a child, so I'm really looking forward to this one, and then I'd say without any further ado, we get right into it. Today we are using the Worn Cockpit mod that I have already presented you on our last video, so do check it out. I will also link it in the video description of this one here as well. So let's go ahead and start our 737 up. Battery on, and it looks like we've got no ground power unit available today, so we'll have to do the fire tests. And that's looking good. Then we're also testing the squibs, and then we can fire up the APU. No, not you. Here we go. APU is coming. In the meantime, let's go ahead and put our code away. Let's put all that stuff away now. What are you doing here? Because we will be flying from the first officer's seat today. Now, little FS-ism, if you change to the pilot view on this one and then back to the co-pilot view, then you should also find the captain in his seat. So that's a little trick that you can use over there. Now, while the APU is currently firing up, let's go ahead and start by a quick look into our flight plan. So we'll request that one from SimBrief, Airberlin 8842 from Düsseldorf to Innsbruck. Looking into the very bottom of the plan down here, we can see it's an absolutely fine flight. The routing is, well, kind of standard stuff everywhere, and then we're going down into Innsbruck. Now, for our weather, let's have a look at that. Our destination Innsbruck shows us wind 100 at 6, broken clouds 1100. That's something we got to keep an eye on, because we will not be able to land with a cloud ceiling like that, but I'm positive that it is going to improve. Now, looking into our alternate, Munich is superb, Zurich is also superb, so with all of that in mind, going up a bit in the plan, an on-time departure at 0800 leads to an on-time arrival, even 15 minutes early. Flat level 370 is the cruise level today, and we need 5.6 tons of fuel according to this. However, with all the circling and everything coming up that SimBrief is not typically calculating, it will be a little bit more, so let's make it like 6.2 tons of fuel. So we'll go down to weight and balance, and we'll, well, I suppose I'm gonna hit load from SimBrief down here, but then let's just change that fuel back, because I do want to do a real-time refueling down here. So 2.4 is what used to be in the airplane. And then we can go down here into the ground services, and we can use that to request the fuel truck. Alright, pretty much like that. Perfect. So then, the APU is now available. Let's bring it online together with a couple of lights, and then we can do the rest of our checks here. So let's go back up. Emergency exit lights. That's all looking good. Then let's just do the fire test again to make sure that the wheel well fire test works, which it did. That's looking good. Transponder should be on 2000 and standby. Like that. Going to the overhead. Voice recorder is coming on. Then we got the flight recorder. It's tested. Clackers. The stick shaker test isn't going to work just yet, and that's it. Alright, cool. So let's take a seat again and start preparing our airplane for the flight. I will turn on the hydraulic pumps. The lights are on already. We'll also put on some fuel pumps for the APU, and then, since the APU is running anyway, I might as well bring the air conditioning on. Okay, cool. So then you can head out for the walk-around as we can start to prepare our 737 for this service. In the meantime, let me quickly... I'll tell you what, why don't we do the walk-around together? That's the nicer thing anyway, isn't it? Okay, so we are starting right up here on the front of the plane with the pitos, which are in a good shape. Oh, wrong button. So pitos are in a good shape. Then we can have a look down into the wheel well. Everything's in a good condition down here too. And walking around the plane to the other side, we got the pitos and the AOA vane all good. Door is in a good condition. Very quick check into the cargo hold, which we always do when there is nothing attached yet. Alright, so engine inlets are looking good. Quick check around the plane. Refueler has arrived already, excellent. So there he is. Hi, we'll take 6.2 tons, please. Alright, then let's continue around the aircraft. Landing gear is in a good condition. The brakes are perfect as well. Then let's quickly sneak into the wheel well. And in here, everything is good. Alright. Then around the back of the airplane. It's getting a little loud here due to the APU. But overall, looking fantastic. Tail skids. Apparently not painted yet. I'm gonna have to leave a report on that one. Alright, and the rest of the back of the plane is looking good over here. Then let's get over to the left-hand wing. Over here, landing gear is in a good shape. Wheel well is also looking good. Come on, can't we sneak out here? Yes, we can. Alright. So, trailing edges of the wing are all good, and then we are getting to the very front again. Looks beautiful, no signs of a bird strike. Very nice to see the good old air balloon colors again. No sign of a pot strike either. Inlets are looking fantastic, and so are the leading edge flaps. Alright, I'd say our aircraft is in a good shape, so let's go right back in and start with the pre-flight procedures. So, for the refueling, we need 6,200, and we got 6,200, so let's start the fueling down here, and then we can start with some general stuff. Light test. Well, the pack light's inoperative. Interesting, they should definitely be working. Okay, so all that stuff is looking good. Oxygen test is looking good, and alright, all that stuff is looking good as well. Perfect. Well then, I'd say we get straight into it and into our FMC. So let's start on the data link, ATS ATIS. We're looking for Düsseldorf with a VATSIM ATIS and send that. Now let's go ahead and start programming. The database is up to date at the time of this recording. However, by the time this is getting live on YouTube, I kinda expect that the next database is already up to date. We'll see about it. Alright, so let's get our EFB down here as well. Okay, here we go. Flight plan is available. Load. And route uplink is loading. So let's make good use of that time. Charts, departure, airport. And we are looking for the parking stands and the airport chart. We can also take the airport info chart. Well, which is the same over here, so that's not going to be a problem. Then, we are departing via Doden. So probably Doden 7 Zulu departure. Let's go ahead and pin that one, and there's an on-off version of that chart available as well, which is this one. Perfect. Alright, lovely. Then let's go, departure, Düsseldorf. At the same time we can quickly run over here and check the ATIS. Düsseldorf, ATIS India, runway 05 right. Check hotspots, blah blah blah, passing 2000, 121355. Let's already pre-select that. Just as a reminder down here. 121355. Okay, and QNH 1023. Like that. And that's set once and set... Oopsie, that was a little bit too quick. Set twice. Nice. Okay, so Düsseldorf, 5 right, Doden 7 Zulu, route. Let's look into that. Ending at Madep, so arrivals, Innsbruck, localizer Romeo 26, Madep 1 Bravo, Rattenberg transition. Now, we are probably going to get something that looks a little different here. And I think I messed up my WinWing MCP setting here. Give me a second. Let's quickly switch that back. I gotta go to the walkaround view while I'm switching those devices, because the software, technically speaking, unplugs and replugs them. And when that happens, the simulator has that tendency to commence an engine start. So gotta be a little careful with that. Now it should be working. And now it is working. Okay. Excellent. Then let's just go into the lax page and see what we got in here. Yeah. I tend to say that looks okay. We'll build something from there. Let's say Rattenberg 360/10. Something like that looks good. Okay, cool. Then let's continue right down here. So according to the on-off overlay chart, straight at Delta Lima 050, followed by Delta Lima 058. Then it's going to be a right-hand turn to Barmen. Then we got Elbal above level 150, Betzo, and then Doden, and the initial climb clearance is 5000. Okay, and that's what we got. Then I'm going to insert 5000 feet over here, and we can also select it up here already. Alright, and that's looking fantastic. Then let's continue on the init page. Cost index 15, reserve fuel 2.7. Zero fuel weight, probably going to be rather heavy. Yep, 60.2, because the people got all their skiing equipments with them. Flight level 370 is going to be the cruise level. Cruise wind 030 at 3. Outside temperature is 10 degrees colder. Man! So that's minus 66, approaching the operational limitations of the aircraft. Okay, outside temperature 5, and then we can do noise abatement 2. 1000, 1000, that's already correct. Well, let's do 1500, which is kind of what we used to do at my old airline in here. And then we got Düsseldorf /25. And the climb page has 250 below 100. Perfect, so that's our setup completed down here. Then we can put that EFB away and run a very quick pre-flight setup. Fasten seatbelts coming on. Window heat on, all that stuff is on. Flight level 370 and landing field elevation is pretty much 2000. Right igniter, flight directors on minus the master. Runway heading 050, and we'll put the same thing on the courses. Okay. So, going a step further down, we need the MFRA, which is going to be 1840. Like this, and we'll just copy and paste that. Alright, here you go. Cool. So that's all the good stuff entered. Then let's continue over here. This is one of the few 737s that is actually fitted with a fail operational autoland system. And we got nothing coming up there. Park and brake. Set frequencies will be set soon. For our radios, we can tune Barman 114.0. Like that. Okay, all that stuff's set. The middle is set. And the right side is set. Lovely. So that's our setup complete. Let's go ahead and get our IFR clearance. We have ATIS information India. So data link ATS departure clearance ATIS India. We're at Bravo 10 and the ATC center will be Düsseldorf. Let's say Moin. And then we're a 738 from Düsseldorf to Innsbruck, Air Berlin 8842. And I'd say that looks pretty much perfect. So let's go ahead and send that clearance request. While we're waiting for the clearance to arrive, let's go over the departure briefing. So we are departing Düsseldorf's runway 05 right, Doden 7 Zulu departure, initial climb 5000. The MSA is 3000, and if we need to make an immediate return, then 5 left is available, extra fuel and time 600 kilos. So let's actually see what the FMS tells me. Let's see. Might take a moment to calculate all this. Oh, there it was. 3.5 with a minimum of 2.7, so that leaves us with approximately 20 minutes extra. Now, we've got no hotspots for our taxi out, and the stop margin is not calculated. The initials are taking us towards 25 miles straight ahead, and then into the holding, climbing 3000. Runway 5 left is available. We're slightly above the max landing weight, but just slightly, so it won't be a problem to return. Apart from that, I've got nothing special, I've got nothing non-standard. Anything from your side? Nope. Lovely. So, ATC uplink. Nothing in there. Okay, so clearance received, being processed, stand by, and here it is. PDC number 5, Air Berlin 8842, clear to Innsbruck via runway 05 right, Doden 7 Zulu, squawk 1000. No slot, next frequency 121.605, report ready on 121.605. Moin. Lovely, so we got the Doden 7 Zulu departure, let's Wilco that. So 05 right, Doden 7 Zulu. And that corresponds to an initial climb of 5000, which we got down here and up here. And the squawk is 1000. Lovely. And with that, we are practically ready to go. So let's call for GSX, prepare for pushback and departure, please. And the parking brakes can already be removed. Thank you. So let's now go in here and just load that plane from SimBrief again, because GSX love to fuck our payload up. 6,200 kilos fuel, like we had predicted. Alright, now let's quickly review the weather. Departure Düsseldorf. And that's all looking fantastic. Okay, so performance tool, runway 05 right, full length, import the weights, import the weather, and calculate. Takeoff 2, 51 degrees. And there is another ATC uplink. Clearance confirmed. Beautiful. Alright, so in here we got 60.3, that's okay. Takeoff 2 and 50 degrees. 86.7, which matches the EFB. And then we got speeds 44, 44, 45. Like that, and 145. Good. So that stuff is down here. Trim 5.3. Right then, let's say hello to our passengers. What have I done? No, you haven't. Oh, for fuck's sake. I wanted to hit Shift A to move to the left onto the captain's seat. I hit Shift Y and then A, which goes into repositioning. Let's just go reposition aircraft. We're at Bravo 10. Something is not going well today. Maybe that's a message that I shouldn't be flying the circling. But let's try that again. So prepare for pushback and departure. Okay, and then let's say hello to our guests. Liebe Fluggäste, einen wunderschönen guten Tag vom Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist Emanuel. Im Namen der Air Berlin darf ich Sie herzlich an Bord unserer 737-800 auf einem gemeinsamen Flug nach Innsbruck willkommen heißen. Die Flugzeit heute wird bei circa einer Stunde liegen. Wir erwarten einen weitestgehend ruhigen Flug. Wir bedanken uns jetzt schon mal ganz herzlich, dass Sie heute unsere Gäste sind. Lehnen Sie sich zurück und genießen Sie den Flug mit uns und wir melden uns dann im Anflug mit den neuesten Wetterbedingungen. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emanuel. In the name of Air Berlin, welcome aboard our Boeing 737-800 on our flight to Innsbruck. Today's flight time will be approximately an hour, expecting a smooth ride in 37,000 feet. For the time being, sit back, relax, make yourself comfortable, and if there's anything we can do for you to make it more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew members. Thank you very much for your attention, and again, welcome aboard. Alright, so those are dealt with. Then let's close up. And the captain's model is gone again. Then we just quickly got to go to the camera selection menu again. Pilot, co-pilot, and there he is. FS24. It's improved a lot, but it's not perfect yet. Alright. So, all that stuff is looking good. Then the only question is, why is the QNH that difference now? No, that's why. No, you're supposed to be here. Look at that. Suddenly it works. Sometimes. Now, well, no further comment on that. Alright, safety inspection checklist and before start checklist down to the line, please. Services and shocks checked, maintenance status checked, battery on, electric hydraulic pumps on, landing gear lever down, ship's library checked, RS mode selectors, nav, gibbons 1, 2, and 3 removed. Probe covers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 removed. Light test checked, oxygen test 100%, yaw damper on, nav transfer display switches normal and auto, fuel 5-6 required, 6-2 on board, 4 pumps on, cabin utility IV galley power on, emergency exit lights on, fast modes on, window heat on, air cannon press, pack soda bleeds on set, pressurization mode selector, auto, instruments cross checked, auto brake, RTO, hydraulics, normal, speed brake. Down return, parking brake set, stop from cutout switches normal, wheel well fire warning checked. I did not forget it this time. Radios, radar and transponder set standby, radar and aileron trims 3 and 0, takeoff briefing is disgusting, PA complete, FMC CDU. Set and on an IS box, we've got automatic, radios 22K, speeds 44, 44, 46 and set, 45 and set. Stop trim 5.4 set, performance when balanced, sign send, phones off, EFB, airplane mode and stowed. Flight windows and cockpit door are locked, doors closed, passengers seated, before start checklist complete down to the line. Alright, let's call ATC and get ourselves a pushback clearance. Düsseldorf Ground, schönen guten Tag, Air Berlin 8842 at Bravo 10, request pushback and startup.
Berlin 8842, guten Abend, push and start approved, face west.
Push and start approved, facing west, Air Berlin 8842. Before start checklist below the line, air complex off, anti-collision light on, parking brake set, transponder rolled off, before start checklist complete.
Ground, Siberian 137, request.
Ground for flight deck. Push and start approved, facing west, and parking brake is set.
137, push and start approved,
And that's going to be
facing
here. Okay. Parking brake is released, off block at 05, that's 5 minutes of delay that we're going to blame on... Yeah, put it on the ground crew for, you know, smashing our aircraft through a couple of gates. No, I mean, I seriously got no idea what to blame it on. And I don't care either. What I do notice, though, is that the airplane suddenly stopped calculating. And that is interesting, because it did do it before. I guess it's because of the... slew mode that we went into. Let's see if something happens when I re-enter the weights or the cruise level or something. Maybe that's doing a change. If not, then we'll just use speed intervent. For the rest, it's not important anyway. Interestingly enough, it is able to calculate QRH speeds here, so it does have performance data. Oh well, I don't care. Alright then, ground, we're starting engine number 2. Clear 2. And 2. So, pushback completed, set brakes. Brake set. Oil pressure, N1. Starter. Cutout. Monitor 2, isolating a pack, starting 1. Engine 1 start. And 2. Oil pressure, and 1. That's what I like about the new engine start. You can commence it so late, basically almost when the pushback is finished. And as you can see, starter cutout, monitor 1, and there's the clear signal. Beautiful, isn't it? Number 1 stable. Flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral. Full left, full right, neutral. Rudder. Full left, full right, neutral. B4 taxi checklist. Generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, probeat on, anti-ice off, air conditioning, packs auto, bleeds on, isolation valve auto, flaps, 5 required, 5 selected, and a green light. Stop trim 5.3 required set, start levers idly 10, flight controls checked, recall checked, B4 taxi checklist complete. Air Berlin 8842, request taxi.
Berlin 8842, taxi to inbound runway 05 right via Romeo, Lima 8, Mike, Lima 9.
Taxi to inbound runway 05 right via Romeo, Lima 8, Mike, Lima 9, Air Berlin 8842. Alright, perfect. So that is Romeo, Lima 8, Mike, Lima 9. Alright, clear on the left side, clear on the right side. Lights on, brakes off, config is checked, and off we go. So, straight ahead, crossing Papa 4, the right side is clear and the left side is clear. Well, let's not get too fast here, 15 should be the maximum on the apron. Like that. Okay, Lima 8 is next to the right. Okay, not the next, there's Lima 7 before that. Then comes Lima 8. Okay, before takeoff checklist to the line.
Evelyn
Conflict?
8842, connect tower on Bombernet Desmetri 05. Schöne Weihnachten.
Bombernet Desmetri 05, Evelyn 8842, danke ebenfalls. Frohe Festtage. Okay, so conflict checked, flaps 5-5 green light, step trim 513 set, takeoff briefing. Right seat takeoff, runway 05 right, flaps 5, noise 2, PAX auto bleeds on anti-ice off, speeds 44, 44, 45, and the sit straight at, contact departure when passing 2000 on 1-to-1 decimal
145, guten Abend.
355, and well, that's pretty much it already. Engine out, straight at 25, climbing 3000. Runway 5 left is available in case of a return. Any questions? Nope. Alright. Cabin secured, before takeoff checklist complete. Düsseldorf Tower, moin. Berlin 8842, ready for departure.
Berlin 8842, Düsseldorf Tower, good evening. Wind 05 degrees, 12 knots, runway 05 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 05 right, clear for takeoff, Berlin 8842, ciao. So, clear right side, clear left side. And departure 1-to-1, 355. Okay, before takeoff checklist below the line, MCP. Set, transponder, Tara, strobe lights on, landing lights on, before takeoff checklist complete. Ready? Takeoff. Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. Checked. Gear up. LNAV. Checked. All right. God, I love it. Don't need to do any input, the thing just flies straight ahead. Back up. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. I'll just wait a second before I call departure because we still have a stage of flap to retract. Flaps up. Speed checked. Flaps up.
Niner 82 Romeo Alpha Land Radar, good evening sir. Information Charlie is current. Start of approved, you cleared Edinburgh by the Sun F2 Romeo departure. Flight plan route, climb by descent to altitude 5000 feet, squawk 2512.
Approaching.
Correct.
Vertical speed. Long radar, moin, Berlin 8842, passing 3.7, climbing 5000.
Berlin 8842, langen guten Abend.
Speed 250.
Climb unrestricted level 200.
Climb unrestricted, level 200, Berlin 8842. Set, 200 checked. So, flaps up, no light. VNAV, set standard. And yeah, looks like the climb predictions aren't working, so speed and event 250. Here we go. Okay. Command B, after takeoff checklist, please. And we can release the cabin crew. Okay, so air condition and pressurization, 2 point something. What's that? 2.5, climbing and set. A little warm. Let's try that. AOG. Okay, and altimeters, standard passing flight level 6 to now. Checked, after takeoff checklist complete. Alright, then we've released our cabin crew, and then things are going to settle down a little bit now. Let's see if we can somehow get our predictions back. This is such a weird bug. This always used to work. Never seen this one in the beta, and now with the release version I'm seeing it twice already. Let's see what happens if we just fly direct to Barman again. I mean, I've had this on one previous recording, but never been able to reproduce it. Now, of course, it's happening on a video. Let's give it a moment. It is eventually going to calculate something. At least last time it did. For the time being, we can just use speed intervent, fly the standard speed schedule. Of course, it does tell us if we close the speed window, it will tell us once we're above 100 what our target speed is going to be. So that way we can easily help ourselves here. Apart from that, since we don't have an estimated time of arrival prediction, we will simply have to live with whatever the flight plan says, and the flight plan said that we are going to be on time, so I'm happy with that as well.
Civilian 137 Langrede details identified.
So, going right into the sun, huh?
150.
Flying flight level 150, Siberian 150.
Altimeters, passing level 103, climb level 200, 10 checks.
Delta, flight level 8,200, sorry.
Let's see if I close the speed window, 294.
Empire 1 Bravo Delta Langrede.
Here we go, 294 set.
Flight level 190.
Okay, so 10 checks please.
Climb flight level 190.
So that is fuel balanced, 4 pumps on, lights off, APU off, air conditioning and pressurization, 4.2, climbing and set, fasten belts, yeah, we can release them. Alright, recall checked, and 1 to 1.5 is being monitored, 10 checks complete.
Yeah, confirmed with just having a couple of dramas with my heading bug.
Oh boy, that one sounded great. Okay, beautiful.
Turning left now.
So we pretty much got everything done.
Berlin 8842, contact Langen 124.70, Merry Christmas, vorbei.
12473, Berlin 8842, frohe Weihnachten. Alright, and then we can quickly lock on CPDLC as well, which should be Echo Delta Golf Golf, I think.
The 459, turn left heading bomb 00 immediately for separation. The 45 Lima Langen.
Berlin 8842, Düsseldorf, Innsbruck.
Guys, please pay attention. Lufthansa 45 Lima Langen. That's funny, Lufthansa 45 Lima Langen.
Engine RTS on.
Yeah, 45 Lima. Yep, I called a couple times, turn left immediately, heading 090 for separation. Opposite traffic, 12 o'clock on level 200, climbing northwestbound.
Okay, maintaining traffic 090, 45 Lima.
Negative, I need a left turn, heading 090.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Left turn 090.
Yes, please.
What a wonderful show. Lang, good evening. Berlin 8842, level 150, climbing 200.
Berlin 8842, Langen radar contact, hello. Climb flight level 350.
Climb level 350, Berlin 8842. Set, 350 check, VNAV. Alright, engine anti-ice off.
Yes, you sent that 130.
And, well, I suppose that's all I got for the time being, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. I see you all on the approach to Innsbruck. Alrighty, we're on the descent into Innsbruck and we can start setting ourselves up for the approach, or rather talk about the setup that I've already done. First of all, we can see it is rather cloudy here at the moment, however I do expect it to clear up when we enter the valley of Innsbruck. For that reason we are going to continue the approach for now. But let's have a look into the exact weather conditions that we will be facing on this arrival. So the latest we had over here is clouds broken in 1200, temperature 0, QNH 1015. We'll see if that's going to hold or if the clouds are going to come up. I have a feeling they will come up a little bit at least. Now for our setup we got 185 knots at the Fox 26 point, which is the speed at which I want to fly down the arrival. The forecast page is filled in, fixed rings runway 26, 10 miles and 4 miles. And then, well, we don't really need to fill in runway 08 for this particular approach here. For the arrival, we are now directing towards Tulsi, which is what I negotiated with ATC, so that I don't have to fly like from here to here and then the approach, but more like from here to here and then the approach. Saved us a couple minutes of flight time. Also a small word on those missing VNAV calculations we had in the climb. Apparently the fix for that is just to enter a cruising altitude at your current altitude. That puts it into cruise mode, then it starts calculating again, then you just enter the higher cruising altitude again that you wanted to use originally, and there you go, there you have your predictions once again. Easy as that. Now a small thing that we should quickly talk about is cold temperature corrections. Because as you can see, the temperature is 0 degrees down there in Innsbruck, and by SOP we could say that, well, it's 0, so then we gotta do cold temperature correction. But wait a moment, it's only if the temperature is 0 at a sea level airport. And Innsbruck is not at sea level, Innsbruck is at 2,000 feet. And that practically means that the ICAO standard temperature at Innsbruck is not 15 degrees, but 4 degrees colder, so 11 degrees. And you only need to do a cold temperature correction if the outside temperature at the airport is 15 degrees lower than the ICAO standard. So in case of Innsbruck, the temperature would have to be -4 degrees in order for a cold temperature correction to become necessary. Now let's have a look what that means in practical terms for our approach. We don't need to calculate anything, we can simply fly the published arrival and the published descent profile all the way down to our descent into Innsbruck. Now let's hope that it's going to load the charts. Here we go. Overflying Tulsi right now for the Tulsi 3 Alpha arrival, which leads from Tulsi to Rattenberg. Rattenberg above 9,500, and then we got the localizer Romeo approach, runway 26, followed by the circle to land. Frequencies 111.1. We quickly need to set those because I forgot to do that earlier, or rather I couldn't reach the MMRs while I've kept a nice view for you guys with as little interruptions as possible. Now weather definitely seems to be good, just a couple of clouds here, nothing significant, so let's switch onto the terrain display on my side. and I am going to go with a vertical situation display as well because of the weather in the area, and you should probably do the same over here. Here we go. Okay, cool. So let's go down to 9,500 feet, like that. And, well, then we are going to start the approach from there. So let's talk about the approach itself for a moment. We've recently done one, raw data, on this channel. If you're interested, watch my Learjet 35 preview video. So basically from Rattenberg we fly towards Advik, and then at 19 dmi we're going to leave our cruising altitude, or rather our platform altitude. It's a 3.7 degree descent, so a rather steep one, 3.77 degrees even. And that means that I want the airplane configured in flaps 5 and at 185 knots by the time we start the descent. So that's what I've entered down here at the Fox point, which is the 19 dmi point. Well, apart from that, we got a couple of check altitudes that we are going to follow. From 10 dmi onwards we could use the glide slope mode, but it's just a backup, so we will just stay on VNAV and we'll be flying down in VNAV. Now from there we are going to join the circle to land, which is that one down here. So down here we've got a minimum of 3,700 feet for our approach, and at 4.2 we are going to turn outbound towards that valley over here, and then at the power lines into the base to the famous church, and that's it. Alright, cool. So I think that's pretty much everything I can do for our approach preparation over here. So let's do a very quick briefing, and let's turn the fasten seatbelt signs on. So for the briefing, we are flying the Rattenberg to 3 Alpha arrival for the localizer DME Romeo approach, runway 26, circle to land runway 08, minimum 3,700, go around, well, first of all, engine anti-ice on. Go around, we are simply going to rejoin the published missed approach, climbing 9,500. Extra fuel time, we're arriving at 3.4, that gives us about 25 minutes extra. Innsbruck traffic, Berlin 8842, over at Rattenberg for the localizer DME Romeo, runway 26, circle to land, runway 08. Okay, beautiful. So now from my part, we are flying the approach with flight director guidance initially, then later on the circle to land without any flight director guidance. The approach is going to be with flaps 40 and auto brakes 3 to vacate the runway to the right. If we miss the taxiway, we might have to go for the turn pad at the end of the runway. Just real quick, set QNH. And 101 fast cross check, passing 10,540 now. Right, flaps 1. Speed checked. Okay, cool. Do we have any questions on the briefing? Nope. Lovely. Then that's the briefing complete. Descent checklist, pressurization. Why has it reset the landing altitude? That was 2,000, wasn't it? I'm 99% sure I set that. Okay, anyway, now it's set. Landing altitude 2,000. Any IS on. Appropriate fuel disgusting. IS now box checked and set. Descent checklist complete. Okay, so approaching descent. 3,700 feet set, VNAV path, speed and event, flaps 5. Speed checked. Okay, and here we go. Then let's arm Warlock. And we got localizer capture. Runway heading 254. Let's do a first check real quick. Frequencies 111.1, fixed rings, runway 26, 10 miles, islands, Oscar Echo Victor, standby instruments are set, and the course is 354. Approach checklist complete. Well, first complete, approach checklist. Altimeters and instruments, set cross check, approach aids checked and set, approach checklist complete. Now it's better. Alright, cool. So 17 DME Oscar Echo Victor. Should be in 8,700. We're almost at 16 DME already, that's fine. So 16, 8,300. 16 DME on glide. See, it's rather difficult to slow the airplane down like this. But then again, we got all the circle to land to lose our speed, so that is fine. Engine anti-ice off. So lights on, angular bank 25. Fast melts are on, cabin should be secure now, recall is checked, turn checks complete. And look at how easily we suddenly decelerate when the engine anti-ice is no longer on. That's just what I love the 737 for. Okay, approaching 12 DME, that should be in 6,700, but we are visual with everything, so 12 DME, on glide, happy. Happy days. We're approaching 10 DME. From 10 DME we would be allowed to use the glide slope mode, but I'm going to leave it off, because that way we can make use of the autopilot to level us off in 3,700 and start the circling maneuver. For the circling, normally of course it's captains only, but I kind of prefer to do this from the right hand seat because it's easier to see the airport. Looking up front, we will level off about here. Then the left turn, that's the valley from the chart, so we're heading over here, and then across there into the airport. And even though we might have a German first officer on board, we are not going to take that into the airport seriously. Okay, speed brake stowed. Just gotta love the views here. Innsbruck traffic heavily in 8842, 7 miles on the localizer 26, circle to land 08. Okay, we got 1,000 to go. We'll remain on the MCP altitude for the circling. So the heading is going to be 230. Let's pre-select that. And that's the valley towards which we will be aiming. There's our airport, clear and visible. Wiener Fault. Heading select. Checked. Alright, set go around altitude. 9,500 feet set. Oh no, not supposed to go back on Wiener Fault. I thought it would have remained in Wiener Fault. Okay, that's fine. Alright. Why is it going in N1 mode? What are you doing? Hello, airplane. Stop the nonsense. Okay. Aircraft. Anyway, here we are, recycled flight directors.
Caution, terrain.
Yeah, that's clear. Terrain inhibit, thank you. Okay, flight path vector on. So there's our airport down there. So, set heading 254. Gear down, flaps 15. So there's the power line down there on the right hand side. Now we're aiming for the Axum's church.
Airspeed low.
No, it's not. You're in flaps 15. What's your problem? That's a very high angle over here. I mean, there shouldn't be any ice on the wings, but let's turn wing anti-ice on. Okay, flaps 25. And flaps 30. Landing. Well, flaps 40. So there's the church. Landing checklist. Start switches continuous. Recall checked. Speed brake on green light. Landing gear down 3 green. Flaps 40, 40 green light. And landing lights on. Landing checklist completed. Alright, starting the circling. And we can start our descent at 1,000 feet a minute. Innsbruck traffic, Abilene 8842 is turning final runway 08. So, set runway heading.
500.
Here we go. There's our runway, we're on the Poppy. There's someone on the runway. Innsbruck traffic, Abilene 8842. Is there anybody currently on the runway? I suppose that means yes, and I am going to ignore. Well, I guess he's vacating. Good. Okay, he's vacated. Then it's our turn now. So, no prolonged flare, as it is a pretty short runway over here. Speed brakes up. Thrust goes normal. 80%. $80 knots. Yeah, I'm not going to force the exit. 60 knots. Manual brakes. We'll have to use the turn pad. Master caution engine. Okay, it's gone again. That is good. We'll have to do a recall in a moment, because if that master caution engine was from the reversers, which was probably the case, then we are stuck over here without maintenance. The good thing is we have maintenance here. Alright. Cool, now let's clean the airplane up. No, that's the wrong airport. No published stands, that's fine. Alright. And with that, welcome to Innsbruck. Innsbruck traffic, Abilene 8842, runway 2608 vacated. Alright, so we'll be parking somewhere over here. Let's see if we can get ourselves some ground services. So, terminal stand number 7, no follow me, and GSX crashed. Yeah, restarted, whatever. Start APU. So let's try that again. Terminal stands, 7, no follow me, over there. I love it. Alright. I suppose we can do this on a single engine. What's our weight? 63 and a bit. Yeah, it works on a single engine. Shutdown 2. Okay, there's our marshaller. Lights off. And here we are. Two blue, one red, engines dead. Coming through, disarm doors and cross-check. And here we go, engines are spooling down. 2000 standby. Alright. Both engines below 20. Then let's do the transit shutdown checklist, please. Electrical and APU, fasten belts off, ProPeat auto, anti-ice off, aircon, well, voice recorder on, aircon packs auto, engine bleeds on, APU bleed on, exterior lights steady and wheel well. Start switches off, auto brake off, speed brake down to turn, flaps up and alight, parking brake set, start levers cut off, weather radar off, transponder 2000 standby, CB in, and cockpit door unlocked. So now the critical check. Reversal lights are not on. PSEU is not on either. Okay, perfect. Then our airplane is not broken. We can fly back. Alright, well my friends, and that's about everything I got for you today then. Thank you very much for flying along. I do hope you liked it. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.